All right, that was Zebra by Beach House. Thanks to Margaret for the request. I want to get serious for a minute here. Not too serious. I've been having a lot for the past few months, maybe a year. I've been interacting with my great aunt, who's via email. She sends out a lot of political emails, and we disagree on everything. And so we'll go back and forth in a constructive way, not at all in an angry way. And it's nice. But in a lot of these emails, there's a lot of common themes that I disagree with. Among them are, Barack Obama trying to destroy the nation from the inside is one big one. Another one is how great Ronald Reagan and Dwight Eisenhower were. I actually like Dwight Eisenhower. I dislike Ronald Reagan. As if I had any right to that opinion. But one theme that always pops up is the idyllic past. And you may know what I'm talking about if you've read 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. I'm just joking. I'm actually not that pretentious in real life. But she sends out these emails, and it's just like a catalog of, in the 1950s, it cost a cent to fill up your tank of your car with gas. And then, what happened since then? Well, we had all the Democrats, and now we're in a recession. And just like the old days when, it was cheap, and, we had nuclear families and 2.3 kids and economic prosperity. Just failing to neglect, though, racism, segregation, the lack of scientific advancement, lack of civil rights, actually, if I can go back to the racism and lack of civil rights for any sort of minority, racial or otherwise. It was just a less interesting time to be alive, in my opinion, too. But it makes me think, I don't know, does history improve? Does the overall, I read in Time Magazine this morning, is the overall arc of history an improvement? Is it getting worse? Are parts of it getting worse and better? Is it complete chaos? And, tweet at me, Facebook, whatever. I want to hear your guys' opinions. But, dude, we learned in my theology class, and this is an interesting theological concept. I feel like if you believe in God, you would have faith that life is getting better, eventually resulting in the kingdom of heaven. And I used to have, not religiously I'd had that belief, but just philosophically, I just had that kind of belief, and I would just sort of bank a lot of the way that I would see things on the idea that the world is improving. Sort of selective attention, I guess. I would try to rationalize clear evidence of the world getting worse, like the disparity between the rich and poor, that is increasing in the last few times. What am I talking about? Increasing in the last few years. And I would just write it off as a temporary setback or something. Or I'm trying to think of a better example. We're being on the verge of nuclear war. I would just kind of write that off as, it'll be fine in a couple of years. And I think that's a really damaging way of looking at the world. I think that undercuts a lot of serious problems that we have. I think we're on the verge of a lot of chaos right now. And I don't think it's cool to live your life in fear either of the future, because that accomplishes nothing. But I don't know, if you think that everything's going to work out, if you just have this idea that there's some sort of guiding force, or that collective decency is going to improve the world, I think you're headed for a lot of disappointment, as I discovered a couple years ago. But on the other hand, idealizing the past and thinking we're headed towards hell right now, I don't think that's okay either. I think that's, it's the exact, you can't believe that the world isn't getting better and believe that it's getting worse in a realistic way. I think that's just as irresponsible to say that everything's on a downward spiral. I think everything's a bit chaotic, and I think, in our theology class, what was the concept is that thinking either one, idealizing one time over another, saying that some people had a better life than others. I don't even know if that's what it was saying, though. Kind of, I don't know, it diminishes God's creativity or something. In a religious view, that's sort of how this author thought it was bad to idealize future or past. and I don't quite know what to think about that. But I don't know, like thinking of the past or future as getting better or getting worse, I think can bring you a lot of either disappointment or despair. And how do you guys live your life? Like, how do you what do you think of existence as an idea? No, I want to. What do you guys think of the past and future? Are we headed towards heck in a handbasket? You know, was it better in the 1950s? Was it really better then? Am I wrong? Was Leave It to Beaver, was that like the peak of civilization? Um, One thing though I do believe is that music is getting better. I think that art is getting better, and I think it's kind of a shame because we lose like jazz is kind of on its way out, and that's a shame. But I think jazz sort of set the tracks for a lot of really cool music going on now. So I think music is improving. Of course, when I'm 50, I'm going to say that music peaked when I was 21. So, whatever. The song is called Smog in Cities by Black Moth Super Rainbow. That's a real band name. Damn it. Every time I can never get a good transition. Let's try this.